David Moyes has gotten a lot of stick this season, and let's be honest, rightfully so. But I don't think a lot of things have really hit a core with West Ham fans, and the continued treatment of David Mubama and the continued playing of Danny Ings. Now, across this season, we've seen Danny Ings play a fair few minutes. He seems to be the second or maybe even third choice striker at the moment. Of course, he's the second really recognised striker at the club, with Scamacca obviously leaving and us failing to get a replacement. But yeah, he's been playing most of the games that Antonio can't play. Bowen has recently come into that striker spot, with sort of Kudus on the right and Paqueta maybe on the left as well. It's a little bit interchangeable, but it seems to have worked and it seems to be doing pretty well. But of course, as we know, Bowen is potentially injured for the next game, and Antonio looks like he's going to be injured for a fair few games. I would honestly estimate recurring injury. We know what he's like with the hamstrings. We won't want to rush him back because, again, because it's a recurring injury, it's something that's likely to, unless it's 100% fixed, something that's likely to come back up if we don't give it the full amount of time of treatment. I could see him being out for maybe a month, 2 months. And in that time, even if it's just for one game, someone is going to need to take that striker spot. And as much as it could be Mohamed Kudus, I don't think it will be. And it's going to be between Danny Ings and Mubama, or at least it should be. Well, actually, to be honest, it shouldn't be, because Danny Ings should not be in consideration for this spot whatsoever. We've read a lot of things into the Mubama situation, and I think the fact that he's not been on the bench for a few games and he's not played a lot of minutes this season, to me, insinuated that that's what the contract talks were about. But supposedly, the contract talks were an issue last season. It's been going on for about a year now, so I doubt it's about playing time, because Mubama wasn't really seen much back then. He wouldn't have expected to play many games back then. I think you've got Scamacca, Ings, and Antonio. He wasn't really featured in the side at all. He was, a year younger than he was then. So I don't think that was the issue. I don't think the playing time was a massive issue back then. Whether it's an issue now, I'm not sure. But of course, David Moyes did say, listen, I don't want to sell you this season. I don't want to send you out on loan. You're going to be part of the squad. And we're yet to see it. We've only seen, really, Danny Ings. I think I said in my other video that Mubama's had about maybe one game. I don't think he started it, but he's had about one game this season. And he's not played very many minutes at all. And for some reason, he can't even get on the bench at the moment. I mean, a West Ham bench is not exactly elusive company. I mean, we don't have a brilliant bench as it is. So for him not to be able to make the bench, I think something is really going wrong behind the scenes. And look, it's hard to say with the Mubama situation what is going on. But you would have thought if Mubama's fully fit, if he's happy to play and he's not refusing to train, then surely in this situation, this is the perfect situation to just say, do you know what? You're playing against Burnley, who are rock bottom of the league. So it's not like we're facing Liverpool or City or someone like that. It's Burnley, no disrespect. Burnley, bottom of the league. Burnley, right? Antonio is injured. He'll miss the game. Bowen, do we really, really want to risk him? We don't know the extent of the injury. By the time we do know the extent of the injury, he won't have trained too much. And let's be honest, if he's been sent home from the England camp, it's not like a knock. I doubt he's going to be able to come back after just a couple of days. I might be wrong, but I doubt he's going to be able to come back in a couple of games. Do we really want to rush him back in a game where, let's be honest, he might not be needed that much? Because, as I said, it is Burnley. You've got two choices. Well, a couple of choices. Antonio, you won't be able to play him. Bowen, do you really, really want to rush him back when he's probably our best player this season? One of our most important, most vital players this season. Kudus is playing amazingly off the right. You don't want to put him down the centre. It makes no sense to me. So you can't really do that. So the choice is, okay, do I put Danny Ings in or do I put Mubama in? And the situation is clear. You have to put Mubama in. You have to give him a go. I think even if he plays poorly against Burnley, like, at least we can say, do you know what? We gave him a game. Maybe his suits aren't exactly suited to us, but we've seen what he can do, and it's what an absolute message that was sent out to him as well. Imagine going in that dressing room saying, Devin, you've got your chance, mate. Injuries, blah blah blah. You're going in for the Burnley game. You get 90 minutes against Burnley, or whatever it is. Show me what you got. Imagine how much that means to a player. Coming in the dressing room saying, Devin, I don't know if you guys have read the Mark Noble autobiography, Berlin Boy. It's really brilliant. I really urge you guys to give it a read. I was going to say give it a watch then. Give it a read. It is brilliant. But one thing that it really shows to me is just how difficult it is coming up in the academy. Like, even when you get the substitutes bench and you get in that first team, it's so hard to cement yourself in there. But the times in which Pards or whoever it was played Noble, the amount of joy he felt, the amount of elation he felt being able to actually just play one game, and playing that one game in front, Premier League football, or even just for the first team, made him say, this is where I have to be now. I need to get back in this first team. It gives you that little taste. And after you've had that taste, you need another bit. You need another bit. You need another bit. And that is probably what turned Mark Noble into such a brilliant player, is that, he got the nod as a youth player, and then he was able to play. He didn't play his best at times. He was very clear about that. But when he was given the opportunity, he took it by the horns and he absolutely went for it. And every time he didn't get the opportunity, he was right back outside the manager's door saying, I've trained well, give me another chance. And I think, if Mubama is a player that the manager is impressed with, it's not like I'm asking for a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old or someone that I've read about that's going to be the next big star or anything like that. We're not talking about that. We're talking about someone who is supposedly in the manager's plans, who is supposedly meant to be a part of the squad this season. I'm not calling for some player that's played, a couple of minutes of academy football or is even tearing it up for academy football. I'm not even asking for that. What we're asking for is a player that you promised, David Moyes, you said was going to be a part of the plans this season. And as of yet, I can't find him. And what makes matters worse is that we've seen how Danny Ings plays. We've seen how he plays. You have to get Danny Ings the ball in the box, and then he takes a shot, and it maybe goes in or it maybe doesn't. Most of the time, it doesn't. But that is not how we play football. We can't put the ball in the box on a plate for you. We need you to help build up. We need you to help, do something. And, the issue with Mubama, I think, is that he's a striker that you need to play him behind. But if we're going to switch up the tactics a little bit for this counter-attacking side, I mean, look at the Nottingham Forest game. I think, the last sort of 10 minutes, we had 2 or 3 good opportunities where we found ourselves like 4-on-2 or 3-on-1, and we had the space to run in behind, and Antonio couldn't hack it. Paqueta didn't look very comfortable, and even Bowen struggled a little bit. I think Mubama is a good player. He's going to get in behind. He's tricky on the ball. He's going to pass him. But to be completely honest with you, I don't know how David Mubama plays. I've seen what he's like for the academy, and I've seen him in pre-season. But truth be told, I don't know how he plays. I don't know how he fits in to this West Ham United side. And the reason I don't know that is because I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him play in our first team. Is he going to adapt his style? Is he going to be a different type of striker? In my thoughts of Mubama at the moment, he's got to ping the ball in front of him. He's got to run onto it and score. That's my thoughts about Mubama. I don't know if he actually plays like that or if he will play like that for the first team because we yet to see it yet. Now, Danny Ings, I know how he plays. Shocking, He's not good enough. He's just not good enough to play. He's past it, I'm afraid. He can't stick the ball in behind him because he's too slow. Can't get the ball to his feet because he's not strong enough to hold off a player. He can't put it in the air because he's not aerial enough. What you need to do with him is put him in this little area, load up the opponent's box, ping it into that area on the floor, and hope that he's the player that gets on the end of it, and then hope that you can get a shot off. I mean, it's so unimaginative and it just doesn't work. So my point being is that, yes, we haven't seen enough from Mubama, and yes, we don't know how he plays. We don't know if he's going to integrate in the side, blah, blah, blah. But I have seen Danny Ings play, and I know that that's a player that I don't want to see play for West Ham with the way he's playing. He can score a hat-trick against Burnley. I still don't think he's the type of player that will play well for us and will actually do something for us. And again, we don't want to be giving these young players false promises. Our academy is in such a tenuous position at the moment, with stars leaving, with players not being able to make that jump to the first team, not being offered the right money that they supposedly want. It's in a very, very delicate situation at the moment. And supposedly, a lot of players could follow suit with the things that Mubama's doing at the moment. You imagine that you play him against Burnley, he scores against Burnley, all of a sudden, do you know what, boss? I want to play for this club. I've decided I'm going to lower my demands, but you have to promise me more football. Someone else in the academy says, George, do you see Devin? He's just scored against Burnley. I could do, I reckon I've got a shot here. They're letting academy players have a chance. Why not? Cole Palmer, 21 years of age, absolutely ripping up the Premier League at the moment. Jordan Archer, I believe he is, of Sheffield United. He's fairly young, come from Aston Villa Academy. He's been brilliant this season, absolutely brilliant. And I'm not saying Mubama's going to come in and hit the ground running. I'm just saying we know what we're getting with Ings. We don't know what we're getting with Mubama. Why don't we just roll the bloody dice? This is the perfect time to do it. We're not dropping Antonio. We're not dropping Bowen. They're injured. We can't play them. So why not just roll the bloody dice instead of just putting Danny Ings out there and hoping for the best? You know, in with the new, out with the old. That's what it's got to be at this point. And, if it pays off, it pays off. And if it doesn't, you've got Danny Ings waiting on the bench for you. I'd much rather do that than, start Danny Ings from the off and then just play him all 90, because that is exactly what Moyes will do. But anyway, let me know in the comments below, do you think Danny Ings should be starting for West Ham come the next game due to, of course, the injury crisis? Or do you think that this is the chance, this is the time to play Mubama and see what he's got? Let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in the next one.